guys, Lucas here again for another movie review, and today it's Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, which I personally thought was based on a true story. Now, if you're thinking, what the hell is Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, like a lot of people that I told about seeing this movie, it's based on this book, who I think is done by the same guy that did, or the same series that's like Pride and Prejudice Zombies, and other things like that, and this is a pretty famous book. And the guy that wrote the book, Seth, I think his name is, adapted his book of the same name into a film, and it's basically, just as the title says, Abraham Lincoln's mother was killed as a vampire. He wants revenge. Some guy trains him via Liam Neeson kind of Batman Begins training montage. And speaking of which, the guy that plays Abraham Lincoln looks a lot like Liam Neeson. And he eventually becomes a vampire hunter expert. And then it shows him as his later life and how, you know, the vampires are trying to take over the country. And while Abraham Lincoln, he kind of puts aside vampire hunting to be, you know, a thing called a president for a while, and how he gets back into that. This movie takes itself really seriously, which you might be surprised because the title's called Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. It's probably going to be a kind of cheesy, tongue-in-cheek movie. And besides the title, it takes itself really seriously, but that actually works for the movie, because I think if they were cracking a lot of jokes, kind of making it self-aware, I actually don't think it would have been as fun. I think it's the fun in seeing them take this so seriously, and it's really kind of weird to watch, but at the same time it works. Some scenes it works, some scenes it doesn't, but for the most part I thought the serious tone actually helped the movie. And a lot of movies, a lot of the time I'll see a movie and like, okay, this shouldn't take itself so seriously, and I thought I was going to say that going into this movie, but it actually worked, and I think that it was a good choice to not make it into a kind of comedic Piranha 3 Double D-ish movie. Also, the main guy, the guy that looks like Liam Neeson, the guy that plays Abe Benjamin Walker, I don't know what he's from, but he was actually really solid Abe Lincoln. The makeup that he had, I thought was pretty convincing when he played old Abe Lincoln, but he actually got across a lot of the genuine kind of spirit that Abe Lincoln, I think, would have had, that real kind of doing best for the country type of sincerity that Abe Lincoln probably had. I thought that he was really developed really good. I mean, obviously you got a lot of backstory for Abe Lincoln to work off of, but I thought he was a neat character, and I really thought his performance was probably the best in the whole movie, and he sold it to me. There's other people in the movie like Dominic Cooper, you know, Tony Stark's dad. He plays like the guy that trains him. He's kind of cheesy. I think he's probably my least favorite performance in the movie. Rufus Ewell, who plays the villain, I thought was pretty good. He didn't have a lot to do. He just kind of had standard villain motivations and standard villain lines. But overall, I thought he was pretty scary in some scenes, and I thought he did an overall good job. There's also some action scenes that are extremely bloody and can be pretty fun. There's a lot, I mean, especially the climax. There's like vampires trying to take over this train, and that's kind of the climax of the film, last 20 minutes of the film. And that was a lot of fun. There's a lot of interesting, cool deaths in there. Visually, it's pretty interesting. And I thought that there were some action scenes that were pretty damn cool. The pacing to me was kind of flawless. I mean, the movie's like an hour and 40 minutes about. It flies by really fast. I mean, you're never bored. I mean, you shouldn't be. It's called Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. And when it's over, I was like, oh, I actually could have, you know, seen like 10 more minutes of the movie and not have felt like this is dragging. So I thought that the pacing of the movie was very well done. It goes by in a flash, and you're definitely going to be entertained by it for sure. I actually think this movie could have been a really great cult kind of classic, but there's a lot of problems, and I really think it's with the director. And I can't pronounce his name. His name's like Timur. Look at his name. Do you think I could pronounce this? What do you think that is? Burkham? This director kind of had the syndrome of, seemed like he was jerking himself off, and that's the expression I like to use, because every single action scene there was slow motion, speed up slow motion. He was like Zack Snyder's love child. They'd be bloody, and then, you'd see like slow-mo zoom in, and then a lot of the time you couldn't see what was happening. It wasn't really clear because it was so choppily edited. I didn't like the way the guy shot a lot of the action scenes, and to be fair, I don't really think that that style really helped or really fit in with the period, like 1800s. I thought if they maybe just did the action bloody but not so stylized, it would have worked. And he does some war scenes, which visually look nice, like the scenery and stuff, but there's like a chase scene on horses, and it's through this field, and there's a lot of dirt. And the dirt, you can't really see what's happening because it makes the screen all orange, and it's really choppy. You can't tell if it's an Abe or a vampire, you know, chasing each other. You don't know which is which. And I just thought the direction was really unclear and unfocused. The dialogue is pretty bad. I mean, it's written by the guy that wrote the books, so you know Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. You're not going to get Aaron Sorkin type writing, but there's not really a lot of good lines in here. A lot of them are pretty bad, especially in the beginning. There's this, there's the obligatory like Abe, and then he turns around and he's like, "Be careful," cheesy one-liners like that. There was one good line that I actually thought was very interesting, where Rufus Ewell's the villain's talking about how everyone's kind of a prisoner or something like that, and he was talking about, I've seen men kill each other, and I've seen brother kill brother, and I've seen them create gods to forgive them to do that, and I thought that was a pretty good line. I actually thought that was really interesting, but besides that, that was really the only thought-provoking line, or really thought-provoking anything in the movie, and the actors kind of make the dialogue a little bit more bearable. I mean, if they had any lesser actors, it would be pretty horrendous, but still, it's not really top-notch stuff here. First 45 minutes of the movie is Abraham Lincoln as like a, young 20, 19 kind of kid, and that's how he becomes a vampire hunter. And a majority of vampire slaying is him as a younger kid, and while it's entertaining, it's not as effective and not as cool as seeing, Abe Lincoln, because he doesn't really look like Abe Lincoln as a kid. I mean, the really only time you see Abe Lincoln slashing up vampires where it actually looks like the President of the United States is in the last 20 minutes, and that was kind of disappointing because you kind of really only get the climax of him really kicking ass, looking like a 50-year-old president. But when he was kicking ass like that, it was really fun, but I really wish that the movie kind of delivered more on that front. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, you're either going to like it or not by the title. I thought it was okay, could have been a lot better. It was a mindless summer movie, you're just going to walk out, it's kind of forgettable. But I would say either rent it, or if you're going to check it out like a matinee with a couple of friends. Might have a good laugh. It's entertaining, it's fun, it's going to get out of there fast. You're not going to remember it probably the next week. Just kind of mindless summer entertainment. So I'm going to give Abraham Lincoln 3 stars out of 5. So that's my review of Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I hope you please comment, rate, and subscribe. See you guys next time. And tomorrow I'm leaving to go to Atlanta, but I'm still going to be doing reviews, just be there. So just expect a different scenery when I review movies in the next week or so. So thanks for watching, and see you guys later.
You are the wonder, you wanna know